Welcome back, guys. It's Brandon with Lucky on Boer Goats, and my arm has no stabilization whatsoever. So as you hear, the goats are hungry. As you can see, not all the weeds got sprayed. The fitting stand's still outside. This thing has been setting tore up for at least 2 to 3 years. Are we going to get everything done before winter? What changes are we going to make this year before kidding season, during kidding season? Stay tuned. I'll start to go over some of the things we're going to do different. I'm going to have to clip some of the stuff down just because, you know me, I get long-winded. I start jabbering. So stay tuned and we'll cover some of that stuff. We're getting closer to kidding season, and this little critter over here is one of our 2 new barn cats. Did we buy them? No, they just showed up. We have a dirt floor shop and they can get under that door. So anyway, you may see him around. This is, I'm gonna call that little Sammy, and then there's a big Sammy. There's 2 Siamese cats that have showed up. We don't know what the relation is, where they're from, but entice them with a little bit of cat food and keep them in here to keep the mice down. I'm going to show you a couple new products that we're using this year. So one of them over here is from Menards. We run extension cords right now to get power out to our kidding shed. I don't remember how much these were without checking the receipt, but I got these. Maybe that's backwards. To me, it's backwards. It could be correct to you, but Cord Protect. It's twistandseal.com. But these came from Menards in their electrical aisle by their extension cords. This is what they look like inside. So there is a little bit of a gap here to where you can push your cord down in. And this is thin enough that you can push the cords in there and it will fit without cutting anything. You don't have to cut the edge. It is a stiffer, thicker piece on the edge, but it doesn't say anything about cutting them. It literally just says connect the cords and snap the clasps shut. So so these, like I said, I want to say they're maybe around $7 or $8 a piece. I bought 4 of them, and because what happens is a couple of my cords I'm using to run light over to the weaning shed, especially if we're doing chores at night. What happens with those is they'll get wet with a rainstorm or just a light shower, and it'll trip our GFCI. But if you've got just a good heavy outdoor 12-3 extension cord, both of those ends can couple and fit inside those. So that's not a problem connection-wise. One of the ones I'm using outside, I had put like a big metal one with the yellow end on it, so it's got a bigger diameter. I could clip 2 of those clasps on that connector, but not all 3 of them. What I did is I just oriented it somewhat down, and we just went through about 7 to 10 days getting around 4 inches of rain, and nothing's tripped yet. So out of everything I tried, those orange twist connect ones with the little foam seal that's supposed to go in between the electrical connectors on the extension cord, those never worked for me, or you'd get ants in them or something. These things are the real deal so far. So I highly recommend these. But if you're in the Lincoln, Nebraska area and I need some more, I don't recommend you going to get them because I don't want to run out in the Lincoln store. The other product I'm going to show you that we're trying this year is kind of for the goats, a little bit more for me. We have an alleyway here on the far west side of our couple pens. And then it comes in and it tees off and it goes back to the east towards our shed. And so when I come in to feed the goats in the winter, I do have some hook over feeders over here on this fence line. But in the winter, if they knock them down, stuff like that, I walk up this alleyway, and what all this fence does over here is it catches the wind from the northwest, blows across these pins, and it drifts my alleyway shut. So we thought what we would do is buy us, basically, if you've ever been to a baseball field for a city or something like that, they've always got like a heavy mesh that you use for like a chain link fence or something like that. They come in like 4, 5, and 6 foot tall lengths. So what we did is I got to looking at them because I had seen it at Menards one day. But when I really got to digging in, there's a huge difference in product quality without having to spend a whole lot difference in money. You don't have to spend twice as much for a 4-foot by 50-foot roll of this stuff. You know, you don't have to spend double to get double the quality. It's one of those things. I think these were, I'd have to look at the receipt again. I think they were from colortree.com or something like that. It was a place based out of California. I do see the product package says made in China, ironically. But this is supposed to be a heavier duty product with more brass outlets on it in the corners to tie it up, where the version at Menards was either $39 or $49, and it just had little slits cut in it to zip tie it up, which out here on the farm, that wouldn't work, or it wouldn't last. So the goal is to try to put this in areas to where the goats can't get to it, can't chew on it, and see if we can't make this last a few years. I think we bought 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them at like $59.99 a piece because they had a sale on them. And I don't know how they rate this, but it's the bigger, it's like the 220 gram or GSM, as it says, weight. So it is the plus or the heavier version. I'm gonna lay this out and we'll see what it looks like and talk about it a little bit. So the next couple things we looked at when I was looking at these privacy screens, I didn't care so much. There's a percentage. If you look at them, you'll see a percentage, and that is kind of like a privacy level. It's like a see-through level, how transparent it is, or how closed the fibers are, or something like that. I don't remember what they call it. If you look it up, I'm sure it's something super simple. But basically, it's just a transparency level, right? Or how much, in our case, I assumed I need it somewhat open to allow wind to come through it without being completely solid like a tarp, which would probably be fine okay also. But anyway, that was kind of the thought. This is, I want to say it's a higher level, probably like a 90, 95. I think most of them are in that upper 80s. But one other thing that we talked about is how it's attached. So this has got bigger eyelets on it, and it's got thick band all the way around on all sides. Also, this is not something you get. Sometimes you'll get one eyelet here. This has got multiple eyelets all the way around the corner, so you can get a good tie off on it without it catching here and ripping. So for what it's worth, that looked like it was a little better to me. So out of the styles that were available, this is the one we went with. They also come in a few different colors. I could have got red to match my sheds, but we decided to just go with black. If you really want to get fancy, if I had a wood slatted fence up here, what I could do is you can get these custom printed, and then I could have had Lucky on Boer goats put on it. But in the middle of the winter when the snow's 3 foot deep, I don't think anybody cares about that, including me. So like I said, goal is going to be to take these down after the winter when we don't need them. That way we can let enough wind flow through to the goats so they're not hot, or giving them that opportunity anyway. So I guess let's start tying. Here it is. Get it at an angle to where you maybe see it. So now you can kind of see how that panel kicks out. We have a little bit of a curve there to lead them down that aisle. I don't know if any of you while you're watching this, have been thinking, well, you idiot, you're doing this with a cattle panel. Are you worried about that cutting it? Well, here's how it looks inside. Okay, another piece to the puzzle for kidding preparation is alfalfa. So I went and got a large square from Todd and Jess yesterday. So these girls that should be kidding in a month, a little less than a month, we're gonna get them started on alfalfa. Let's just hope that they're not actually due in like 2 weeks or something like that, or a week. But we do have that. I drove a T-post in one end to keep the flakes from falling over. But I'll cut the twine on that and we'll start pulling off that end. We feed alfalfa about a month before that group kids, and then through kidding, and then the last couple weeks before they wean, we start to transition them back over to grass hay. Just kind of slow their milk production up a little bit, some things like that. Make that transition a little bit easier. Maybe they'll kind of start to wean their kids off. So that's kind of what we do there. On to the next part. They'll get some hay this morning. I just moved. Their hay feeder was over here. I'll have to get a skid steer to clean that out because I can't get a tractor in there. Or maybe it'll break down. Whatever. It'll help that dead tree grow. Anyway, we're going to take our 8-foot North Star Boer goats feeder here. I washed the pan and everything out. We're going to take some alfalfa, start shoving that thing full. And an update on our feeder. With these girls, this group of girls, this feeder is working excellent. I would say if I had to do it over again, if you're only feeding grain in this, I would not put the center hole in it because it dribbles out. So whatever goes in the center, you got to kind of dribble it on either side. I do think ultimately you could probably get by with shortening this up and that up because it is made with heavy enough materials, and get one more spot in there. I think that worked really well. But I also wish I had like 5 or 6 more of these things. There is a lot of capacity in these feeders. So if you guys are looking to feed this way, it just works for us. I personally, with the way we move our animals, I just don't want to set a bale out anymore. So yeah, it's more work, but it works for us. That's probably 8 to 12 inches off of a 3x3 large square. This November group, they're on alfalfa now, and today is Halloween, so that kind of tells you what we're looking at timing wise. Anyway, another thing I got done the other day, was that yesterday? Yeah. 70-degree weekend here in Nebraska, but I've got my other length of security fencing. All right, guys, so it is Sunday, November 14th. So basically, here's what's left in the shed. Number 1, finish cleaning the junk out. Any little trash, that shelf, stuff like that. Get it cleaned out. Then it'll be one of these things where I might enclose this area over here. Maybe I'll cut some plywood to put in that corner. Do something different with the shelf. Or maybe I move it over here by the door. That's kind of where we're at now. You can see all this. We've got our 4-foot tank in here, which honestly, I probably need a 6-footer in here, but I bought that a couple years ago when they were like $83, and who knows what they cost now. That's a 4-footer. But no, I have to clean these up, get them taken apart. The Tartar hay feeder will stay in here for now. It's still clamped to the wall. So we're getting there. I'll have this done here in the next couple days. I'm actually going to go outside. When we took videos, so you can see all the cobwebs. When we took videos of the goats for the shows, or the sales, we just set up our pins as a round pin outside. So I'm going to go take that apart and get started in this corner. First, I'm going to go scoop some poop. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave some gap, and then I'm going to set a couple up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split them right under the cameras. So maybe Shayna's watching us. You can see that one's probably in black and white right now. But anyway, I think I'm going to set them up that way we can watch directly over. I like these pins. They were reasonable when we got them. I've noted that sometimes the spot welds, when they're beating on them with their heads, if you have 2 goats fighting, they'll kind of pop those out. So at some point, if I get a little MIG welder bought, maybe what I'll do is I'll come in and put something in these, reinforce them, who knows. But I am using dog kennel clamps this year. I bought those packs from Menards, pretty reasonable, a couple bucks a piece. Bought a whole bunch of them. Because this is what it comes with. It comes with these plugs with a pin and a clip. And so it's supposed to sit down in there. Well, the problem is when the goats get to pushing on these joints, you can bend those pins. They're not real strong. So I do have some extras. I have all of these. You know, the pins, when they're sitting down in the bottom, they're in that manure. They get rusty, stuff like that. They don't come out real easy. So here, as long as I carry my little Milwaukee cordless impact driver and a 9/16, I can zip those on and off real easy. If this shed was taller, I'd probably have some more cameras in here. That is one thing that, in hindsight, if I could do it again, but when we make our decisions, like everybody, you only have the money you have to spend on a project. But the box we have for the cameras only supports 4 cameras, and so we would have to upgrade. Originally, we started with 2 cameras, quickly realized that was not enough, so we went to 4, and they look down at each other. There's no cross views, so they're directly across from each other. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of height here, so certain cameras wouldn't work in this scenario. That's our stockpile shavings for now. It definitely won't be enough for the whole season, but I need to go through my cord inventory, a couple of them there, a chunk of carpet there. I have a cord there I need to go through. I bought a new 3-way connector. For sure use 2 of them to get to the weaning shed lights. We did not buy any more stall dry this year, just due to cost and stuff. I need to get that other tank heater put in. That floating one is like 1,000 or 1,250 watts, which should be more than plenty for a 6-foot tank. Completely worthless as far as I'm concerned. It'll still ice up. Put all that stuff back. There's the red heat bulbs. I do have some thermal cubes. But there's another chunk of carpet I need to use. But I'm definitely going to run out. I need to get some more clips for all of our little hanging feeders. None of them match, which irritates me. And then I've got the hay baskets and stuff like that kind of dug out. So buckets, I've got 3 different sizes. I wish I had all medium size. The big ones are too big. Shayna can't hardly carry them. They get so heavy. Medium size is pretty good. The small's not quite big enough. So anyway, but there's the loader. Got a new hydraulic valve. I think we're going to mount it down here. The guy's making me a plate, so my bolts will run down. There'll be a plate there and it'll sandwich, and where that makes a jog. Should hold it in, but yeah, it's a Miller P12. It's in really good shape. I gave the brackets a coat of paint, but we're gonna run cable operated here, so I'll have to get those adjusted. I gotta get the fittings. I'll probably take these hoses off because they're long enough to go to the rear remote, and I'll probably have them cut and then do fittings from there, because I just need these to go to here and then a set to go from here back. So I could have those cut and save a little bit there. I'm not sure where I'm going to run the cables in yet, because I do have a heater that comes in up there. So I don't know. I don't think I can get them in there. I'd have to go through the floor plate. There's the pedals. I might be able to run them back here through that, or back here. If I have power beyond one day in the future, I'll hook up a power beyond to my valve in there, take that plate off and run it through, because I do only have one remote. So we're stuck doing this. So I'm thinking cables will run through there. We'll snake them in and up, put a small hole in that, or if I'm long enough there, I've got 6-foot cables. But anyway, got a little bracket that'll mount essentially right here, because right here is a boxed heater, an original heater that came with this original ice cream box cab in this 806. So it'll be here because your hydraulic lever comes up. So it's a tight spot. It'll stick up just a little bit. I think it'll be perfect. So that's that. It's got a real nice bucket on it, good cutting edge. So hopefully, I need to get some more lights up there. I've got a set of lights up there in a box next to the left side panels. But I need to get that cleaned up. Want to get the this moved so I can get the baler in here. Yes. So there's a look into everything that needs cleaned up and organized for the year, so we can get everything in here for the winter. And you can see right there, I have a set of chains. So I struggled with that a lot last year, but anyway, so yes, nightly chores usually don't take this long. So what we're doing right now, this bin, if you've been around the channel, it's an old LaRue coffee bin, but this is one of their old bean bins. It's fiberglass with a stainless frame, and then it's just got a slide gate. I just used some old license plates and made a little chute. But right now what we're doing is those 4 girls are getting probably a pound a day. So one of these ice cream buckets of our pelleted feed will handle about, so if you use one of these scoops like this mark here is usually around a pound. If you fill it to the top, you're a little over. So we keep a couple of those around. So one bucket will go to that first pin with the 4 does. That's got essentially a couple pounds in it. The other bucket will have 4 scoops in it. And there's probably 6 goats in there. So the split's a little different. Brett, we'd like to keep on a little heavier ration in general than the does. But we just kind of take it for what it is. Next, I'll take this bucket, which is, we just call it effectively the Paw Patrol bucket. And that'll get about 5 or 6 scoops in it. And then the remainder of this bucket goes in the gray bucket, which is like a 3-gallon bucket. Yes, I understand you wouldn't have to dump it in there, but just visually we do. That goes over to the Dolings. I haven't measured it out, but they're getting about 2 pounds. They're probably getting around 2 pounds a day. Everybody else is probably around that pound a day. And then once they go into kid, or right before kidding and as they kid, each goat will get bumped up to 2 pounds a day. And this has got a little bit, I know we still need to do our feed video. We just got to take time to do it. But this has got a little higher fat content in it than normal. So that's why we don't have to feed a ton of it. So anyway, I'm going to scoop this out and go feed the other side. So this is a fun pen. Yeah, I'm sure you can't see this, but they will attack me for feed. And Rachel loves to jump. So this shed needs cleaned out. Something terrible. But we're using our tartar feeder in here, clamped to the wall. And then I've got just your standard hook over feeders on the wall, except for the far one down there is broke because one of these chunky monkeys tried to stand on it. And then I must not have screws in this one, so they knock it off every day. But inevitably, if you have goats, you know, if there's a way for them to poop in something, they're gonna end up pooping in it, which generally happens. So, but yeah, these are last year's girls, so they're not quite a year old yet. But yeah, they're definitely spoiled. They're kept chunky. So what we'll do with them is, as we come into next year, or actually this summer for breeding season, where they'll be about a year and a half old, or late summer, we will start to cut them back a little bit and try to make sure that they're not overly plump, but they're good and healthy. Drop a few pounds off of them so they breed well. When it comes time for kidding, there's the house. There's the back door. And then over on that side of the house is where we usually come in and out. And then all the farther we have to go is to that gate. And so then we're at the kidding shed right back there. You can just see the light on right past this shed. So, I mean, we're not even 50, 60 yards away, and we're at the kidding shed. And so what's nice about that is our kidding shed, or our barn cameras, they're on a point-to-point system, and so, or a direct line of sight, I should say. And so there is, on the edge of that shed, there's a little white receiver that sends over to the house. And then when it comes into the house, it hooks into our internet, and then we can pick it up on our phones. We don't have it set to do anything other than on our phones, but it's clearly a quick line of sight. Usually, as long as you're in a good service area, you're gonna get a pretty quick view of what's happening. We can change our resolution. I wanna say maybe last year that was in one of our videos real quick. But I've actually been able to catch a baby dropping, it landing, and the bag not opening, and being able to run out to the shed. Now that one, unfortunately, I think was dead in the sack. But in that case, I was able to run out and bust that sack right away. So we have pretty good luck because we're so close. So I know we're a little spoiled, but on, you know, if you're out coyote hunting or whatever the case, you know, if you're spotlighting something when you're hunting or out doing something, for the most part, most of us, if you're checking cattle or out in a pasture or something, is where we usually end up using them. It's better than anything that I've ever used like that. So do yourself a solid if you have to check on goats about to go into labor, if they're still in a big pen or a pasture or something. Get you one of those, and Shayna can stand in these back windows, which is a huge bonus. We have 3 of them here and 5 on the other side of the dining room, and she can look out on the goats. That's how we know when they get bred and everything. So yeah, we can shine out on them in the middle of the night if she feels like she needs to check on them. She can light them up and see everything. So that would be one product recommendation. Hey guys, welcome back. So it is the night of November 15th. I have to do chores yet. It's, I don't know, 6:30, something like that. I don't even know what time. But I just got back from somewhere. I didn't videotape it because, well, we're an itty bitty YouTube channel, and I don't really know. It's not like I got some fancy camera set up. I'd be walking around talking to somebody on my phone. But anyway, just met up with somebody, picked something up, got it in the back of the pickup. Let me get here through the shop and I'll show you what we got. All right, guys, well, check it out. We got us a couple used brushes. So, a couple different sizes. Or actually, maybe that one's just wore down a lot more, which is probably the case. But yeah, so they're probably 5-footers, something like that. Because with that rolled up, I think this is a 5.5 foot bed. So anyway, the other one over here, I don't actually have. Oh, there goes a kitten. So over here, you can see I picked up part of one of these from the county, and as you can tell, it's a lot shorter. Well, what that was is it actually had metal band spacers in between it, so each little section was spread out. Fire! Fire! I don't know, did anybody ever watch Beavis and Butthead? Taking care of some cardboard tonight. Well, it's not too windy because they decided to take our recycling away in Davie. So there's a toilet box. Anyway, so here's what we're gonna do, guys, besides not be able to see me. There we go. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drive a T-post in this pin to the side, and I am going to use the smaller brush here, and then we'll put the big brush out in the pasture pen. It looks like the family's home. So I'm sure the kids are gonna wonder what we're doing. I decided I needed to rake the yard. The problem is it'll probably roll through a dog turd. So if you can see this, that'll fit in there just like so. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but we'll just kind of squish it in there. Yeah, I'm just talking to myself. There we go. You just gotta squeeze it hard enough, and that is sealed up really well. Like I said, I'll zip tie that up to either a T-post I'll drive out here or an electric fence post. But I used to have the orange twist ones that just had a little foam seal in them, and they just didn't work for nothing. And I've already tested one of these over there and it worked. Okay, just a quick update on what's happened tonight. Today is Tuesday, 16th or something like that. But anyway, went to Todd and Jess's, got a couple hay bales today, a couple large squares of alfalfa. I moved those in. Got my tractor running here. I charged the batteries on the 15, got the 15 unhooked from the baler. I'm gonna drop the spear off the 806, move the baler into the shed next to the planter, get that in. It's gonna start getting cold. I would imagine Tracy, at this point, if he hasn't done stocks, he's not gonna do stocks. Well, it's not pretty, but we got it in. So it is Thursday the 18th. We're back out here in the shed after eating supper. And Wyatt, what are we doing?
We're making new pens for the baby goats.
Yeah, what were we just doing?
We were cleaning out the spider webs.
I have a chronic problem of, I'm a 90%er. I get a lot of projects done to the 90% level, like my office that we built like a year or so ago, or whenever. Maybe it's been 2 years now, something like that. But, you know, like I just got the door trim up around the door that I hung. And even then, I have one piece that I have to put like 4 trim nails in to hold it in place. Or I don't have all the baseboard bought. Little things like that. Kind of like this. Like I get to a point where it's that like minutia of detail. Sorry, you're bouncing all over shaky left hand. So we got to push through, get it done, get it clean, get it ready outside of bringing extra shavings over. So I don't have the tripod unless you want to go get it. I don't know if it's really anything that's worth watching. It's literally just going to be me picking stuff up, carrying it in the dark. Okay, so I don't remember if I ever put a review of these lamps in. There's other people that have reviewed these Premier One Prima Heat lamps. So it's not like I'm going to offer you anything very insightful to them, except for we just feel they're safer. They come with a grill like this, just locking tabs. You twist it in. Here, let me spin you around. So it comes with tabs like this. Other people, they show you. You just push it in there tight, snap it around. When you first get them, they're pretty snug. But one thing I want to mention is, here, Wyatt, hand me that bulb, even though it's bad. So one thing that we had to adjust compared to a standard heat lamp. Wyatt, can you go grab that heat lamp over there? That bad one. So this one's bad, but you notice how far down in there that is? You know, that's a couple, by the time you put the grill on there, hold on, you're probably talking, oh, it's about deep in my hand. Let's just say 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches, just to get to the guard to get heat, right? Hold on, Wyatt. So you got to go that far just to get heat, where if you use old rusty, crusty, trusty here, it's got a broken bulb in it, but anyway, or a base. But anyway, that bulb is right here at the edge. So you've got heat. So when you hang this down closer to your babies, you'll have heat closer. So the one thing that isn't as great about these is I have to hang them lower, which then I restrict the amount of room left under, especially when I put them in my cages. So that's one thing to consider. So if you're going to run one of these, unless you're somewhere south, say you're like any of the YouTubers, say down in like Oklahoma, if they get a cold spell or something like that, they may only need a 125 watt bulb, 250 possibly. Either way, a 125 for us, say like here in Nebraska or northern climates, 125 is basically worthless for us, especially when you get it that far apart. So just something I wanted to kind of point out as I test these out. Like I said, these come in a 2-pack from Tractor Supply for like $10. So $5 a bulb on a red, that's pretty good. So hopefully they last. As long as they last better than the Westinghouse bulbs that I've bought at Baumgars before. Those Westinghouse bulbs, I bought boxes of them. They were selling them for $1.99 on sale. I bought a bunch of boxes. I know I've mentioned this before. But I bet 2 out of the 6 burned out. So, and I don't remember, this one's Ridge. So I don't remember if that one is one of the good ones from Orscheln's or not, but filament's burned out there. So anyway, something to consider if you buy these. A lot of people run them. Yes, you can buy that jalopy for next to nothing. You could buy like 3 of those for what one of these puppies costs, but a lot better investment here. Even if you can only buy a couple a year, just slowly keep doing it. We just wung it and bought 6 to start. So we bit the bullet for part of ours. What do you think? Good? Okay, well, my handy helper here, we noticed that, don't want to drop it, you see where the bulbs are? We got an extra couple inches with this one. So the red bulbs will actually be a little bit closer to the base. So that'll be a help in on itself, just because it's a longer style bulb. It'll get us an extra couple inches of reach down closer to the baby. So hey, there was a bonus. So maybe check that out too. Well, welcome. It is Saturday the 20th. Okay, so Shayna is with Claire over there looking at goats. I have a problem. So I was picking up some sticks and some of these pins just to clean them up before winter. And I got ready to walk back over there. Problem being, see that black-headed goat? That black-headed goat is Misty. She is supposed to be in the other pen, but I swung the gate and she bum rushed me and clipped me behind the knee and shot out here into the pasture pen. So I'm not gonna film this because, well, I'm a farmer by upbringing, not a cowboy. We got a calf rope. Yeah, I'm gonna need some help. Okay, well, here's one thing you never do is take 4 children into a carpet store because they're nuts. You guys are nuts, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, they're nuts. Climbing in and around everything, so that's less than fun. But, so guys, where were we just at?
The carpet store.
What's it called?
I don't know.
It's called Carpet Land. So, I've done stuff at Carpet Land before. Last year I got our carpet there. We just kind of went back and picked a couple remnants out with a gal. Couldn't really remember exactly how that happened last year or what we paid. But this is all something that Todd and Jess do at their place, or they used to do. One of the two. They're the ones where we got the idea to use the carpet. So it's not my original idea, but anyway, we went back, as you saw a second ago in the quick clip of the kids being unruly, which, I mean, let's face it, the back remnant roll area of Carpet Land, like, yeah, I mean, it'd be fun just like running around bouncing off the carpet. But anyway, so what we did is we went up front once we kind of found a couple rolls that may work. And I asked him, I said, well, how do you price it? There was $45 on one, like 6x12 remnant. And he's like, well, let's go back there. I said, I also found a 24 foot by like 4 foot 3 inch remnant, which I figured that's not going to work for anybody but me, because a lot of my sheds are like 4 foot tall or whatever. So I could get like 6 doors, or the little pasture pen shed, I could cut that up. So anyway, he asked one of the, I don't know, maybe a manager or something, and he's like, $20. I'm like, sold. So, you know, I don't know what that price is at to a square foot, but you just try to, the goal is you just try to find remnants that are really no good to anybody in most cases, you know, oddball sizes, something that's like a portion of a room, and just talk to them, be like, hey, this is what I'm using it for. I don't need it to look a certain way or anything like that. And clearly in this case, I've got 3 rolls, different rolls, and one of them was $15. The other one he did $15 on, and then that 20-footer he did $20 on. So I felt good about that, considering the roll I had pulled to start was like a 6x12, and it was $45 because it was one of the few that had a price on it. So I kind of expected I was going to have to spend $100 to do this, but as we learned last year, it helps a ton, and it worked out really nice. So if you're in the Lincoln area and you're looking to do something like this, I'd definitely check out Carpet Land at, they're essentially 27th and Superior, just south of Walmart. They've got a ton of remnants here. So, or, you know, if you haven't done something like this, you know, a heavy truck mud flap would work in certain cases. But the carpet works really nice because you can put a cut in it. And once they're kind of trained to it, it works well. So that being said, I'm going to get these kids some food and we'll get back to the farm. So as you can see, we have some very luxurious blue-gray carpet for the goats. I really hope they like the tight weave. I hope it's really comfortable for them all winter to walk through, pee on, spread their poop all over it when they walk into the shed. So anyway, as you can see, I got a little extra here, but I'm hoping we can get what we need out of that without having to cut this down. But like I said, I've got a few different rolls here. That one's kind of bent. But these are both 5x12s. And then I do have the remnants from last year, so we should have plenty to do everything we need. Okay guys, so I was gonna go in and grab the Rode mic and set my phone up on the tripod, but the wind picked up, surprisingly. Now it's pretty chilly out, so now a light jacket is not enough. But anyway, still waiting on my loader joystick. Otherwise, I would love to pick this shed up. I need a pair of forks. I could probably do it with the bale spear I bought, because this isn't that heavy, but I'd love to pick this up because, you know, there's some old bedding in here. And I'm on my knees and I don't fit. So it's a short shed, but I'd love to pick this up and move this to a clean spot, but that's not in the cards at this moment. But yes, the wind's howling. So like I said, I was going to set you up to show you what I'm doing, but I'll just tell you. So as you can see, there's this top header board here, and then there's another board here, and then there's a skid down at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple pieces of my board here, put the carpet in there, and I'm going to sandwich it in. But my helper went in the house because it sounds like Grandpa and one of Grandpa's friends are going to execute their freedom on some targets here later, and he wants to be a part of that. So I think I lost my help, but I'm going to hold this up, screw this together, and kind of I'll pick up with you here in a second. Okay guys, so this is kind of what we got. I got the strips along the top, got a little bit of an air gap there. There's actually a hole down here. I think that was designed to put a chain around it and drag it. The skids are, you know, they've been used. I think it was an old hog hut, and then some people use it for sheep. But anyway, a little bit of gap there. There's a couple of holes in the boards on the back for a little bit of ventilation, but I didn't want this flapping. As you saw, there's a board that runs across. So what I did is I put 2 slit cuts in that up to that point. This is actually just a hair longer than I thought. And then the center beam, I tied that down so that way when I put those cuts there and those cuts there, at least it would kind of hold it in place. For now, I just got kind of a screw just kind of holding that up just so they can get used to it. But if they need to, they can definitely get out there. But I think that should work well. It's not completely enclosed. It's got some movement. It's got some airflow. And actually, I may end up just leaving that way. Unless it gets real bad, then I can drop it. So that is just kind of an overview of what I wanted to do with this shed. You know when you have that one goat that instead of eating good, fresh hay, they just soon chew up your living room carpet? Mistake. This is why this doesn't work with some goats, because some of them are dumb. Oh, what are you doing? Are you here to eat some carpet too? Yes, I'm sure you are. So as you can see, they can still move that south side of that. We'll see how that works. I want it to be somewhat sealed, but if somebody needs to get out. And then over here, let me step back. Over here, I left half of the shed open, so probably 4 foot. And then this one here is open so they can get through. I secured it right there just because it's curled real bad. So, excuse me, sir. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I don't want it completely closed over here, especially with snow potential. I want them to be able to get in and out. But it'll look like that. So like I said, you want to be able to give them some options to get in and out on both sides, especially depending on who's in here. Excuse me, ma'am. Can I help you? Okay, guys, with it being Sunday, we made a quick change of plans. I am going to run into Orscheln's and get a couple just basic tubs. They're not what I prefer. Even though I don't necessarily need the Concept Aid from Durafirm, I would prefer to have those. If anybody's ever wondered, those are the two hats I wear. Not just because, but there's home business and pay the paycheck business. I'm back here at the chain link fence panels, and as far as what they could do, as far as inventory to set up a goat pen like we have, they could do 3 of them. There are 3 of the 4-footers, and then 1, 2. So they could do 3 pins plus 4 extra panels, and then they've got 5 of the big panels and 6 gates, but I'm taking a gate, so there we go. To you guys that I will never, ever, ever, ever again, under my willpower, own a stupid shore box pickup. Now I'm in my company vehicle today. We pay so much a month for a limited amount of personal use. So I just jumped in this today because I've got all the kidding stuff. The other pins, the dirty pins, loaded in the other pickup yet. But anyway, yes, 6 foot tall, and it's just wide enough that it won't fit. It is whatever time it is. It's that time of night. So we're about to a wrap on this. So I was gonna make a kidding prep video, and then I was gonna start a weekly vlog thing. I think it's just gonna wrap up all into one, because I didn't really have a plan when I started. I already had a couple clips started. I'll probably edit those all together by the time you see this. But so here's kind of what we got done. So this one is probably the jankiest setup. I put a piece of wood on this side, on this wall. I put one across the header. As you can see, there's a metal channel, or actually a metal rectangular tube up there, which obviously these screws do not handle well. So more than likely these goats will tear it down, but it's at least somewhat closed up. Like I said, I'd prefer to come in here and frame this out different, because it's nice to be able to, in this shed, it's got a wood floor, to be able to get in there and scrape it out. So yeah, I don't know. What we'll do is we'll probably throw some straw in it, and then when we have to clean it, we'll just scoop it out, the carpet, and scoop it again. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's the worst part about winter bedding, is if the cleaner you can keep it, the better chance you have at not having mites. Our kidding shed, we use pine shavings, and you'll still get some. And we change that once a week. Everybody out here just gets straw, so they could pick up some straw mites or something like that. But anyway, I feel better having this closed up a little bit. We're trying the 1-cut method. We're about wrapped up. It's just a little bit of cleanup. It's some final touches. As you can see, I kicked shavings out. We've got everybody set up. So We got the Premier One Prima heat lamps. Those there on the opposite side. We've got the hanging hay baskets. Up front, we keep their water buckets and their grain buckets. One bag of shavings works pretty good in these. What else? Nothing really in here. Like I said, I need to clean that out. The hay feeder, bring some alfalfa in here. I would imagine sometime tomorrow, I'll probably come over and bring them some water because it's basically go time. And so they'll probably start to get somewhat locked in here. The thing is, they can come out this other door here on the east side, and they have that small area. I don't know if Shayna's going to allow them out there or not, because what's happened since I built the weaning sheds is you can now not see that area, which that's a problem. And I also cleaned this area. But I've got a couple brackets now. That cord for that power strip was too short. And so I just screwed a 2x4 underneath of it and zip tied it. I didn't cinch it all the way up. That way it would kind of work. But now we've got basically another 5-foot pin area over here, where the last couple years we haven't had that much room. So that'll work out. I think really what I need to do is I probably need to make another couple shelves over here. I had 2 pieces of scrap up here. That's why that's there. But I think what we're going to do is we'll probably keep trash, like a lick tub like this. I'll probably empty that out. We'll keep trash over here for when we do shavings and OB gloves and stuff like that. But other than that, guys, I think this is a wrap. I'm going to go get their lick tubs I got at Orscheln's earlier and put them in here so that way they got something sweet. So anyway, guys, the countdown is on.